Hi, I'm Justin Gubo with Precision Agri Services, and today we're going to talk about a product from HORSCH called an Avatar 40.10 SD. So this would be a 40-foot air seeder on 10-inch spacing. They also offer a 60-foot air seeder on 10-inch spacing. So we're going to focus on this particular model that we're going over today. So if you see behind me here, this is a twin tank system. So you could do 2 different products per tank. There is 2 different electric drive motors underneath each one of these, so they can be commanded at 2 different rates per product based on a variable rate prescription map or just by manually plugging into the system. So we're going to talk about what comes in front of those motors is basically the simplicity of one fan coming right off the front, coming down with 2 tubes. Those 2 tubes then come down into that metering assembly, which you can find right down here at the bottom. This is the first one for the first tank. That is the second one for the second tank. So inside the cover of this housing here is where a meter roll sits. So there's different meter rolls based on the crops or the fertilizers in the rates at which you are applying. So this is very important to work with your dealer for sure as you're changing different rates and products to make sure you have the proper roll to do the proper job. So once the proper roll is selected and it is installed in here and the product is put in the tank, it's a very simple calibration that we can do a catch test with it, plug it into the monitor, and you be calibrated for that particular product that time. So after the rolls, when we go all the way through, it's going to be 2 tubes. They come out the back of the machine with the 2 tubes. And then you see they come out here to the wing and come right up this way through the tower. And then outside the tower, we'll have the distribution. And through the distribution, we'll have the ability to do any sort of blockage sensors, depending on what setup you want on your particular seeder. So then out to the rows, we'll talk about the row units. So coming back to the row units, we want to start with the frame in front of the row units. So up here on this frame, this is an 8x10 frame. It's very important that when actually in field planting conditions that we want this frame perfectly level. Okay, we can put a short level on it to make sure that we get that bubble right in the center. The way we would adjust the levelness of this frame is by the cylinder stops on the wheels and also the main cylinders on the Avatar as well, but then the drawbar up at the tractor. So it's very imperative to get this level. Once you get this level, then we actually need to adjust the bar heights. So coming off of this to the actual torsion mount style rank here, we want the center of this frame 18 inches off the ground. What that's going to do, if you notice on these torsion mounts, they move some already the way it is. It adjusts that and puts the proper distance off the ground for this bar height to give this thing individual down pressure on the row, you know, on the steadiness, besides the hydraulic down pressure that's being applied to that rank. If you don't have this bar height at 18 inches and it's running 20, 22 inches tall, you're not getting the proper angle for the arm and you'll have inconsistent down pressure on a row by row side of things, even though you have a hydraulic cylinder applying to that rank. So what's great about this particular row unit is there's no greasers on this row unit if you notice, okay? It's completely greaseless on the maintenance side of things. The torsion mounts up here is what makes up that down pressure, which is different than most other ones. Most other ones have sort of springs and bushings to those row units that take a lot of maintenance. When it comes to maintenance items on this row unit, it's more about what's running in the ground and making ground contact. So it'd be your blades, your boot assembly, where your seed comes out with your deflector piece, and then following that is your packer wheel and your closing wheel assembly. To adjust the depth of this gauge wheel, it's very simple. You just pick the T-handle up, move jet. Each one of those rows would be independent from one another. If it comes down to the closing wheel side of things back here, they have a camber adjustment on the closing wheel. If you feel like it's not doing an aggressive enough job and you want to adjust that, you can actually get a wrench in there, loosen the nut up, and change that camber to be more aggressive. If you got any questions on the Avatar air seeders, please give us a call at Precision Agri Services.